On today's show, we talk about the power of community and how you can use it for your own advantage, for that of your team, and for everyone around you.
So my question to you is, are you a part of a community? I really hope so. If not, we're going to go through a few bullet points to help you be associated with a good community. As always, comment below during our video, like, share, subscribe.
Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the power of community and what community means to you. First of all, there's a few different ways you can define it. It can be offline, like people you see every day, like in your office, your team, your clients, everything else. It can be a little bit bigger than that, like some customers and people who come to social events and meetup groups. It can be online as well, of course, via Facebook, other social media, your database, just people who come. Like there's, different ways that can extend out. And you can define this as different kinds of things, but there's a lot of benefit that comes through it, and so we're going to walk through a couple of those different ideas.
Sure, I think it's important to have a community of like-kind folks that you're sharing stories with, you're maybe even sharing customers and clients and vendors and things with. Obviously, 1 + 1 equals a lot more than 2. When you think about that, when you think about that saying, and then all of a sudden you have yourself as a sole entrepreneur, or you maybe have a small team, and then you reach out to other local businesses that are in the same trade or the same skill sets, same business types that you are, and all of a sudden you collaborate and you turn into masterminds, you turn into meetup groups, you turn into much larger things, and you share resources and things like that. But one thing that I do want to share that I think a lot of people forget about is we are all allies. We are not competition, and do not consider your competition as competition. And let me explain on that a little bit, because that's a little bit confusing. For the most part, as a lender, we sell a product, and our competitors sell a product as well. And a lot, compare apples to apples. It's very, very similar. Similar terms, similar rates. But if we do not get a deal from somebody, chances are it's because it's on us. We didn't fulfill our part of giving exceptional customer service, or we lacked in communicating with somebody, or whatever the case is. We didn't win that client. That's fine. The other team, the other competition got it. That being said, I'm just not going to segregate myself and say I'm the only hard money lender in town, and I'm not going to cooperate with other people. That's one transaction, right? Who cares? If they won that transaction, that's them. Kudos for them. I'll get the next one. And there's so much more benefit of me being an ally with them and helping back and forth. I get on the phone with, and I'm going to use the word competitor, but when I use the word competitor, it is a positive word, not a negative word. The more competition in a space means there's a lot more people, and there's a lot more money in that space, and there's not more opportunity in space because you have a lot of competition. So you just got to be better at what you do. But you get on the phone and you share stories, and you share vendors, you share service providers that they do this, that they do it with, and what could be a really, really crappy deal to us may be a great deal to them, and vice versa. So there's a lot of experiences that you can share from that. And another real interesting one is real estate agents. There's so many real estate agents out there, and that's a good thing. The reason there's a lot of real estate agents out there is there's a lot of business, and there's a lot of houses that needs to get bought and sold. So obviously, this is a separate conversation to figure out why you stand out, but more importantly, it's important to be a part of the community of real estate investor organizations and things like that, because you need help from them, they need help from you, and you grow as a whole. You grow as a whole, so please consider yourself as an ally and not as a competition with anybody, no matter what space that you're in.
Yeah. Also, like I was saying before, the notion of community can be a big macro thing with hundreds of people, or even more than that, thousands of people, or it can be a small micro thing, like the people that you see every day. It was said a long time ago by a business writer. It was either John Maxwell or Jim Rohn, or one of those guys from like the 80s and 90s in that era, that said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And think about it for a sec, because in most people's opinion, and I agree, like it's pretty true. When you think about the people that you see, daily or every week, and you fall somewhere right in the middle in terms of like what you're up to, what your skill level is, your abilities, everything else. And be careful about that, because it's easy to be in certain circles that might not be the most positive. And if you want your business to go in a certain direction, you might need to add in some new people into that 5 and maybe drop 1 or 2. And that's kind of a tough thing to say, but it has a big impact on everything you're doing and where it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, think about the term community. It's a big, powerful word. I mean, think about your neighborhood, think about your subdivision, think about your city, state, United States, world. I mean, it's one big thing, and there's one common denominator. In each of them, and the one disadvantage that a lot of small business owners have is they're small business owners, right? They're not big enough to buy in bulk, or they don't have all the resources, and they don't have a lot of different departments. They don't have 10 people in an accounting department that can make decisions. You as the business owner is doing that. So by having like-kind people in your community, and it doesn't have to be necessarily in your niche. It doesn't have to be like, oh, it has to be a real estate agent or a real estate investor. It could be a small business owner. To me, that's a big enough community itself. You have resources and you have help from others. The important part is first understanding the importance of a community and the power of a community. But the second part is interacting and being a part of that community. Sure. Although I'm not a huge fan of like the business network, the BNIs and the things like that, and the reason I'm not a big fan of it is they typically want one person per industry, and that's just so like you don't overlap and you don't, back to the word, compete.
Yeah, good point.
I do like those events in general. I like on a broader level, I just don't like that, there's only going to be one real estate agent in this thing. And it's like, well, what is it the real estate agent, I don't like, I'm not going to refer them business anyways. So then all of a sudden, that part of the,
whole industry's out.
Yeah, that whole industry's out. But I do suggest either try to buddy up with community that already exists if you find one that you really like, or try to start your own community. I mean, they're out there and they're there. Obviously, it's more of a pain in the neck to get one started from scratch, but figure out one that's there. Go on to meetup sites and try to find one that you attract to, and one that you like may not be the same one that I like, and vice versa, right? It's all about what's in your head, and it's all what you're comfortable with, and we'll get you open to help grow yourself, because that's what it's about, is resources and ways to help you grow as a small business owner.
For sure. And another huge benefit of the community idea that I've been thinking about is the positive effect it can have on your internal team, like your staff and employees and everything else, which is number one. Because if that's not functioning right, nothing in the whole like client and customer world is going to grow and benefit from that. So the effects on the community, our meetup group, for example, the other stuff, the people that are coming into the world, those are things that your internal team can take advantage of in terms of growing their own knowledge base, or their own investment opportunities, or their own career, path, So that's something that I've been thinking a lot about too, is the benefit to the internal team.
I agree, and we kind of want to leave you as like leave this video as do things better than what other people are doing. I strongly suggest not reinventing the wheel. You don't need to, but do things different, stir it up, kind of create your own movement yourself. So, I'll give you a real life story about our meetup group. I mean, we didn't like how traditional RIAs were run, with selling, pitching gurus and this. So we kind of came in and we brought some other like-minded folks and said, why don't we just start our own meetup? We'll bring in good quality speakers. We don't have to charge for anything. It's open for the public, and we'll grow and we'll grow and grow. And it's something we're proud of, and it's one of the many things that we've really tried to spend time and attention to related to, this is just part of the community, right? That's just like one aspect of it, but it's just things like that, right? Just because something old school was done this way, if you don't like it, change it. Do it, do it yourself. Do it the way that best fits you. So hopefully this was a good way to describe the community, number one, what a community is, and number two, the power of it, because it can grow and it really will utilize you. If you're doing anything inside your community right now, feel free to comment below. I'm really curious to see what other people are doing right now related to their community, their business culture, whatever the case is. We're at really interesting times right now on a lot of forefronts. So there's no right or wrong. If it's working for you, stick to it, improve it. Going back to the word create a movement, like take action and just do it, and it's powerful. But please do comment below related to that.
For sure. Yeah, and let us know what community means to you and how that's affecting you in a positive way. And I think that's it for today, and we'll see you guys next time.
As always, like, comment, share, subscribe.